The other day, I officially hit 15,000 subscribers here on my channel on what was just about my 3rd anniversary here on YouTube. I started regularly uploading to my channel back in April 2017. We're now here in April 2020, and I'm so thankful to everybody who has watched my videos and supported my channel along the way. So I really just wanted to say a huge thank you for both 15,000 subscribers and 3 years here on YouTube. So kind of like what I did with my 10,000 subscriber video, I thought now would be a good time to do another Q&A video. So I opened questions on my Instagram and also my community page here for anything related to myself with Disney, YouTube, or life in general. I got so many great questions. Unfortunately, I cannot get to all of them today, but I'm going to try and hit all the ones that were kind of most frequently asked. But if you have a question that I wasn't able to answer in this video, please leave it in the comments and then I'll be able to directly reply there. But before I jump into the Q&A, I did want to do a little subscriber thank you giveaway. I decided to slightly reformat the giveaway this time because I wanted it to try and be as much of a thank you to subscribers and as less of like a self-promotion algorithm boost type of thing. I've just gotten really tired of the giveaways on Instagram where it's like, follow me and follow these 15 other people and you can win a Disney gift card. Because literally all that is buying followers. Like when YouTube requirements are liking a video in a giveaway, nobody can see the likes on a video, so it makes no difference in your entry whether you do that or not. And when you comment to enter, the more comments there are, it's decided to kind of like boost the algorithm. You know, if you have like a big, huge, flashy giveaway, you're just kind of trying to attract new subscribers. So anyways, what I wanted to do now was give away 5 little, I guess like pin goodie bags or grab bags. So in the description below, and I'll also put this in a pinned comment, there's going to be a link to a little Google form. It's going to be the exact same equivalent as if you were kind of like entering in a comment to win. It's just going to ask you like your name and username and where you'd like to be contacted if you win. And then from all of the submission entries I get there, I'll choose 5 random winners. I'm going to leave it open for 1 week. So next Wednesday, April 22nd, I'll draw 5 winners from that. And then I'll get in touch with you for shipping using whatever the preferred contact message you listed in the form. So I thought at this time it'd be nice to do some kind of fun little pin goodie bags. They're pins that you can keep for yourselves, pins that maybe you can use as traders, but it's a way that hopefully I can send out a thank you. But now that we've covered that, let's get into all the questions. I've kind of grouped them into like Disney, YouTube, and life/grad school categories. So we're of course going to start with the Disney questions first. First question here is, what made you decide to get into pins again / really take it farther than a childhood interest? I did a video a while back all about my Disney pin story. I started collecting pins back in 2003, and through all of my Disney World trips growing up, pins were my #1 souvenir. But I wasn't aware of the world of pins outside the parks until 2016. It was late 2016 when my parents brought up that they might be able to take me to Disneyland the following January. It at that point had been quite a while since I'd been to the parks, so I really kind of started to dive more into the parks, dive into Disneyland because I'd never been there before. And with looking at new Disney things on YouTube, I came across channels like Everything Disney Pins, which is kind of defunct and taken over, but they had so many videos all about Disney pins, also Disney Pins blog. And then I found all of the Disney Pin Facebook group, and I was checking them obsessively because I had such this like FOMO of like there's all these pins being posted all the time, and what if there's a great deal that comes up, and it was just this whole new world that was opened up. So I've always very much been a collector in nature. And it was really once I like finally found the Disney pin community online, which was like when I really like revved up my pin game. And now we're here today. Next question is, what's the first thing you try to ride at Disneyland? The #1 thing I always try and get on, and it's worked out all the previous trips, is Pirates of the Caribbean. That to me is the absolute perfect first quintessential Disneyland ride. The Disneyland Pirates of the Caribbean is stunning and far surpasses the Disney World version. It's this perfect mesh of a little bit of thrill. You have those little drops. But yeah, at Disneyland, you know, you want to start off with a dark ride, and Pirates for me is the absolute perfect thing to get you in the Disneyland mood. Next question is, if you were to design a ride of any Disney film you'd like, what would you choose? This one is actually a pretty easy one for me to answer, and it would absolutely be a ride based on WALL-E, because both Tomorrowlands really need a much better Tomorrowland focused ride, and WALL-E is the absolute perfect like Tomorrowland movie. So I think there's tons of options that you could do. You could do it kind of dark ride-esque. You could do it slightly more thrilling, like how Wally and Eve are in outer space and they're using the fire extinguisher to kind of like dance and move along. I would just really like something WALL-E in Tomorrowland. Another pin related question with how do you afford so many pins? So I have very little money. I make very, very little money as a graduate student. It is just barely enough to live off of. So any discretionary spending I have comes from the small amount of YouTube revenue that I make, and then also now from my Etsy mouse ear shop. So I really do not have that much money to spend on pins, but typically any discretionary spending I have is focused on pins. I've also made videos with tips for collecting Disney pins on a budget. I've gone over a video on all of the great Disney pin deals I've gotten on eBay. Kind of the true answer to how do I afford so many Disney pins is that I am constantly on the lookout for deals and trying to get the best bargain that I can. Even if I really want a pin, if it's too expensive, I just say no. And then also my pin collection has been an accumulation over a decent amount of time. So even if you don't have a big pin budget, if you're very savvy, you still can get into collecting. Next is an ear-related question with how did you get started on making custom ears? So I'm actually not wearing one of my own ears today, but I run a mouse ear shop on Etsy called Confection Ear Shop. I make sweet treat inspired ears. So that all started back in kind of like fall 2017. I did a YouTube tutorial video on how to make realistic looking DIY lollipop ears. That was something that I just kind of like came up with as content for my YouTube. And when I posted that, people were really interested in me actually selling them. So then I decided to create an Etsy shop where at the time I just listed those lollipop ears. But then as time went on, I kind of wanted to expand my mouse ear line. And since I had already started with the lollipops, I kind of wanted to define my niche as like food and sweet ears. So I just kind of gradually expanded my line of ears. I try to use as much real life inspiration as I can. So whenever the Disney parks releases some sort of new treat, I think, is there any way I can turn that into ears? I love crafting, so mouse ears for me are perfect because with my ears, I like to combine a lot of different mediums together. So obviously I use fabric, but I use a lot of fabric paint, polymer clay, so I can get really artsy with them. Back to another pin question here with what are your current grails you're on the lookout for? So, of course, I like the Nick and Judy WDI profiles. There's some like Super Grail Emperor's New Groove pins out there, but on eBay the other day I just saw this pin for the very first time and I fell in love with it because it features Disneyland's Petrified Tree, which I technically have like 2 videos going on about that because it's like geology at Disneyland and the plaque with the tree is totally incorrect. So it's like not only is this pin super gorgeous and super Disneyland-y, but it also has a Disneyland geology in it. So I really want to try and find that pin one day. Next we have, do you have a Disney trip booked anytime soon? If so, do you think it will be canceled? So yes, I do have a Disneyland trip booked. We booked it back in December. It's for a June 10th arrival. However, as everybody knows, all of the Disney parks around the world are closed indefinitely. So I have absolutely no idea if the parks are going to be open at that time, if it's going to be safe to visit then. So only time will be able to tell with that question. But another question is, when are you getting down to Florida again for a Walt Disney World visit? The last time I was at Disney World was in 2011 and it's been so long since I've been there. However, I am steadfastly holding on to doing a Disney World trip next year in 2021 once I defend my PhD. So then it'll officially be a 10-year gap in between Disney World visits. For some perspective, the last time I was at Disney World, Magic Bands did not exist. It was only paper fast passes. New Fantasyland did not exist. So I'm dying to get back to Disney World, and I'm gonna make sure it's a present to myself for finally defending my PhD. Next we have, are you going to make any more fantasy pins for your pin shop? So if you don't know, I a while back started a little pin shop called Desert Mouse Pin Shop, and I made some fantasy Disney-esque inspired pins. I came up with a few designs, which was super fun, but it got to the point where my ear shop was really starting to pick up, and I was just starting to juggle so many things. So obviously I have my PhD, I have this YouTube channel, the pin shop, ear shop. So I really had to choose, what am I going to focus on, pins or ears? And so I decided to choose ears and really focus on my ear shop and grow that. Since making ears is much more fun and active for me, whereas, you know, with a pin you design it and send it off to a factory and then it's made. But it just got to be where I was juggling too many things, and I just really could not give it the time and energy it deserved to continue on making more new designs. Then we're going to finish off this kind of Disney exclusive category with a non-Disney question that I got, and that is, what is your Harry Potter house? I am definitely a Ravenclaw through and through. I do have a little Ravenclaw banner on my door. However, I, over the past few years, have kind of fallen out of love with Harry Potter. I loved Harry Potter, and I do kind of say that in the past tense. In college, I took a whole class called Thinking About Harry Potter. It was a contemporary history course. I literally wrote like an 18-page research paper based on the Order of the Phoenix and how Harry in that book is in this liminal in-between state between being the boy who lived and the chosen one, and how Dumbledore is orchestrating all of this so Harry himself goes on this journey to become the chosen one and accept his fate. And so I love the books, but J.K. Rowling has just soured things and ruined things in so many ways. The script for The Cursed Child, the play, is the worst trash fan fiction I've ever read. It contradicts pre-established canon in so many ways. Don't even get me started on Fantastic Beasts. There's all this stuff that J.K. Rowling has personally been saying, and all that combined has just like so unfortunately soured the Wizarding world for me. I really do like want to find my love for Harry Potter again, but it's definitely going to stay constrained to the original series. So yeah, that's kind of my current thoughts and status on Harry Potter. Then we're segueing into just two very quick YouTube themed questions. The first is, would you have been as into pin collecting as you are now if you weren't on YouTube? So as I discussed prior, I really got into pin collecting and kind of like into the online pin community before I started my YouTube channel. So YouTube for me has kind of been the best way to be able to participate in the community. And obviously for me, like, pins are kind of my main form of content here. But I think even if I weren't creating YouTube videos, I still would be really into pins and collecting. Like, I do a lot of like mystery pin opening videos, and there's been like plenty of times over the duration that I've had my channel where I've gotten like a hidden mystery pin pouch. And it's like, you know, I don't really want to like film and open this on camera. I just like want to open it myself and just kind of like enjoy it. So I may not have as many pins now if I wasn't on YouTube, but I think I'd still definitely be super into pins and collecting. Then the other YouTube related question is, what's your best advice on starting a YouTube channel? The basic recipe of like what you need to get started with a successful YouTube channel is making worthwhile content. And by that I mean things that people will want to watch that doesn't already exist. Say there's a YouTuber you like and you might be like, oh, I want to make videos just like them. Well, why would you make exactly the same type of thing? So I kind of have like my own specific Disney and pin niche here. I try to make things like a mix of kind of like informational but still entertainment. So you need to make videos that are like worth viewing. And then second of all is you have to get lucky. You have to be lucky with the YouTube algorithm deciding to pull a video and show it to people. When I first started my channel, some of the videos that I made on fake Disney pins started to get picked up by the algorithm. And so you need to be able to find that luck for more people to view your videos. But then going back to point one, things have to be interesting enough for people to actually be able to subscribe. But also know there really is absolutely no barriers to starting a YouTube channel. I do it as a creative outlet and I have almost no professional equipment. Every single one of my videos on my channel has been filmed on my iPhone because I don't own an actual camera. I have this clip-on microphone down here because the sound quality is so bad, but this was cheap on Amazon. I use a free video editing software that I found. My earliest videos weren't even edited, they were all just in one take. So don't feel intimidated or feel that you need to spend like $500 or $700 on a real camera. As long as you have a phone and ideas, that's really all you need for YouTube. Then finally, we're gonna end with some life-centered questions, a lot of which are focused on grad school. So if you hadn't figured out by now, I am a geology PhD student at Arizona State University. I'm currently finishing up my 5th year, and I'm anticipating 1 more year, so I should be defending around this time next year. So first question here is, if you weren't in grad school for geology, what else would you do? Not many people may know this because this is one of my oldest videos. I think this is the first video that I showed my face in. And that is, I was accepted to the Fall Advantage 2015 Disney College program. I'd always wanted to do the Disney College program. So the Disney College program was essentially going to be my backup if grad school didn't work out. So it essentially came down to the choice of going to grad school with this PhD offer that I had gotten or doing the Disney College program. And like a lot of DCP people, I probably would have wanted to try and stay down in Disney World and continue to work with the company. I was accepted for a role in attractions, which at the time was my top choice, although now I would probably put it as merchandise. So if I hadn't chosen the geology grad school path, I would have been working at Walt Disney World. Next question is, what inspired you to pursue the field of geology? I am 100% an accidental geologist. I entered college only planning on pursuing a Spanish major. I had never really been exposed to an actual geology class before. The only time we were actually taught earth science in school was in 6th grade, and I remember loving it so much. So I always liked earth science when I could get it. But in college, we had to take a laboratory course, and since I had already had biology and chemistry and physics and didn't want to do that again, I decided to sign up for geology. And that's when I absolutely fell in love. I had the most amazing professor. She was so passionate and knowledgeable about everything, and literally every day in class, I was with the content, this is amazing, my mind is blown. Just being exposed to all of these insanely crazy, amazing things about Earth and Earth's history. It's where has this been all my life? So then that question segues into, why did you decide to do a PhD? As I just said, I entered college only as a Spanish major, and then I kind of just accidentally found geology, and I loved it so much that I just kind of slowly amped it up. I first added it as a minor, and then I decided to add it as another major. And then it got to the point where I kind of want to go to grad school. I felt like I needed more, I'd had such short amount of time that there's so much more to learn and so much more to do. It's not like history or English classes where every year from right when you start school, you're exposed to that. So much of this was brand new to me, and I loved it so much that grad school was really the way to be able to continue. So I actually only applied to master's programs. I just wanted to do master's first because I was kind of uncertain in what I wanted to focus on. So I had applied to the master's program here at Arizona State, but the professor here that I applied to had a PhD funded project, and it was something that I was so excited about and interested in that I took up the offer of being able to go right into the PhD. And it ended up working out great for me because I was able to do a master's in passing here. So I didn't directly decide to go into a PhD. The opportunity to do so just kind of presented itself. Next question is, how do you balance your Disney hobby and your PhD program? Pretty much all of the free time that I have is dedicated to either making YouTube videos or making ears. So I do all of my PhD work during the day, and then in the evenings, during the few hours after dinner, I'm either editing a video or putting together ears, and pretty much most of the time on the weekend is dedicated to filming and editing and a whole bunch of ear making. So I kind of try and fit Disney into any little free time space. So some of the grad students really like to go rock climbing or hiking during the weekends. I'm pretty much always here doing Disney stuff. Then we have, do your colleagues/students know about your Disney life? The answer to that is very much yes. I have 2 advisors, both of whom know about my YouTube channel. They know that I make ears. Everybody in the office knows I'm really into Disney. It's really no secret at all. It's also not anything that I feel any shame or embarrassment about. But yeah, everybody knows I'm really into Disney. And then we're going to do one final question here, which is, where do you hope to work after you earn your PhD? So what I really enjoy most is the kind of teaching aspect or science communication aspect. Here in my channel, I have a whole playlist of the geology of Disney videos. I love putting those together and being able to share my knowledge and passion for geology with others. So I really hope to be able to do something that is very teaching focused, or something that is focused around science communication. But also, frankly, I'll be happy with, any job I can get after grad school. So thank you to everybody for sending in those questions. And again, there were so many more awesome questions that I couldn't get to. But if you ask them again in the comments below, I'll be able to respond there directly. And then don't forget, if you'd like to enter the giveaway, just follow the link in the description or the pinned comment to the form and submit that by April 22nd. But thank you again for this wonderful 3 years on YouTube and 15,000 subscribers, and here's to many more. But thanks for watching.